Hi, my name's Noah Elmer. Today I will be presenting about solar drying and its quest to solve nutritional scarcity. So to briefly define nutritional scarcity, it's basically not having access to nutritionally dense food throughout the year or throughout your life and any access to it. Nutritionally dense food is kind of what it sounds like. It's just it's your vegetables, it's your fruits, it's all the foods that have the essential minerals and vitamins and proteins that you need for your body to function properly and to work and be considered nourished. And a way to combat that is solar drying. So solar drying is the removal of moisture from foods using solar power to increase their shelf life and let them be more available throughout the year, so they don't go bad as fast, basically. And this is accomplished obviously through a device called a solar dryer. The removal of moisture, basically what that means is what causes vegetables and foods and meats as well to go bad is their water activity or their moisture level inside of them. So by removing the water or the moisture inside of the foods, you prevent microbes, molds, and other harmful substances from growing and thriving in these foods, and which allows them to last longer and to have a higher shelf life. And the mechanism that this works, or the way that the solar dryer works, basically, as you can see right here, there's a little compartment here. It's plexiglass and insulated tubes. And what happens is the sun heats us up through the plexiglass, and the insulated tubes traps the heat inside of this heated air. And then a fan powered by the solar power as well pushes this heated air through the bottom of the chamber, and the heated air rises as heat does through all the foods, and the heat kind of leaches the moisture out of the foods and dries it fast, and then is vented out as steam through the chimney over here. And this removes the moisture, so you have less moisture content and less water activity inside the foods, and allows them to have a higher shelf life and a higher accessibility to those who didn't have it. So this is a really big deal in developing countries, because developing countries don't have refrigerators and freezers that can preserve our foods and make them last longer, because they don't have typically access to electricities. So this allows farmers and people who require their crop to survive on to preserve their food for a longer time and have access to these nutritionally dense food longer, as well as it allows for higher crop yield, because essentially the solar dryer protects the food and dries it faster. So if it rains, if it's really windy, you don't lose your crop to the elements. It protects it, so you have more food that lasts longer, as well as all the sources and materials needed to create a solar dryer are easily accessible, and our people in developing countries can make these. Essentially, there's lots of research showing that how you can make this with very limited resources. But as well as just in develop, not as well as besides just developing countries, solar dryers are really essential and have been really impactful for everyone in the whole world. It has effects on the whole world, and that's because it's an alternative food preservation method that does not require fossil fuels. So most modern day and high level food processing plants that use preserved food use fossil fuels to do so, fires and stuff like that. And solar power is an infinite resource, and unlike fossil fuels, and also doesn't have an environmental impact. So using a solar dryer, you are being more environmentally friendly, as well as it is not reliant on a limited resource. Also, it's another example of higher crop yield. Same reason as stated before in developing countries, that protects the crops from the elements, and also does it faster than just maybe sun drying. And it's also economically optimizing, because producers can the suppliers of the farmers can preserve more of their food and let it go out longer throughout the year, instead of just during that crop time and during the time of peak harvest. And so consumers can then have it throughout the year, so they have access to the nutritionally dense food, but also it doesn't cost more during off season. So it's kind of just, it normalizes the cost throughout the whole entire year for foods. And then as well as an increase in nutritionally dense foods for everyone, because everyone needs to be more nutritious and have access to those foods. So basically, to kind of summarize it all up, why solar drying is so important is it allows access to nutritionally dense food throughout the year. It reduces food waste, because you don't have to throw away foods going bad as much, and you can also protect the crop yield. And it also allows for better health outcomes in developing countries where they have to combat malnourishment.